isn't doing as well as his or her parents were at 30. That is the social compact breaking down. People aged 30 to 34, 60% of them in 1990 had one child. Now it's 27%. People are opting out of America. They're not optimistic about it. They're not having kids. Young people aren't having sex. They're not meeting. They're not mating. The pool of emotionally and economically viable men shrinks every day, which lessens household formation. So we have a real issue. Young people are enraged. So it turns every cut, every movement into an opportunistic infection because, quite frankly, they are just pissed off. They look up, they see wealth, exceptional wealth across my generation and people in certain industries, and they are really struggling. Their purchasing power is going down, and the incumbents create artificial scarcity on campus. We take pride in rejecting 90% of our applicants, so the incumbents who already have a degree see their degree go up in value. We get very concerned with housing and traffic once we own the housing. Housing permits are sequestered from young people. Housing prices have gone from $290 to $420 in the last 4 years. So a young person, a house, stocks that I don't own skyrocket in value. Let's have COVID relief and flush the markets and take assets way up, because if 1 million people dying would be bad, it would be tragic if I got less wealthy. And we're doing it on their credit card. Young people have every reason to be enraged, and every issue they see, they look up, they get angry, and they see someone doing better than them. And then every day it is speedballed in their face that they are failing, that they are not doing as well as everyone around them. We have lost the script. Our kids are more anxious, they're more depressed, they're more obese, they're more addicted, and we have made a purposeful decision to let this happen by ensuring the people around this table stay wealthy at the cost of young people.
Do next. 4 more years. Pause. 4 more years. 4 more years.
I wish they all said pause. I wish they all said pause. 4 more years. Pause? Pause? That's right, suckers. Welcome to News from the Pew, folks. We're taking the news from around and do stuff.
Forget Bureaucracy. Ron Burgundy, baby.
Yeah, the Ron Burgundy primary. That's pretty much it. I'm your host, Rick Barrett. I'm very happy. I am the Armed Catholic, and I'm happy to be hanging out with Steve. It's going to be Steve and I today. John is mingling with the conclave in Rome, trying to find the next pope. And Flaz is welcoming family. So
you're gonna confuse people. You're gonna think they're gonna now go searching. What's straight? Did the Pope die or something? Or
yeah.
No,
or no. John's working on the scenes behind it to make sure that when the next one is chosen, John is actually the whip of the conclave.
When you type in Father Justin, what is Arrington doing?
Yeah. Guys, I really can't say right now because even if he did, he's too smart.
Or Mr. Justin, he's dead. Yeah, he got downgraded.
Because I'd be like, I don't know what he's saying because I'm stupid. But we are happy to be here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you guys are hanging out with us live or in the replay. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell because we come on whenever we want. And we got some stuff to talk about today. As always, it's been a new week. And first one. Did you know, because Steve just told me and I didn't know, that there is actually something going on in Idaho, and it's not because of the name Idaho, but there's actually something that got past all of Pro-Life Incorporated. If you don't know what I'm talking about, take a look.
Abortion case, and really the court is trying to decide whether or not federal law, specifically a federal law that talks about emergency care and the fact that if you come into an emergency room, doctors have to stabilize you if you have an emergency health condition, whether or not that supersedes Idaho's law, which says that you are not allowed to have an abortion unless the woman's life is in danger and unless she is basically dying in this case, is what the federal government is saying here. This was a very interesting case to listen to because on the federal government side, you had them essentially saying that Idaho's law makes it necessary for a woman to be on death's door in order to get an abortion, and that is wrong, that it really should be about her health, and it should not take all the way until she gets so sick that there's no other option but to get an abortion. But Idaho was arguing just the opposite, saying that their law is sufficient, saying, in fact, that women can get the care that they need, and that women can even get a care, and it doesn't have to be right until they're at death's door. I will say that in listening to the justices, they sounded like they were leaning toward siding with the government here. You even had someone like Amy Coney Barrett, who of course is a conservative justice, seen as a conservative justice. She was asking questions about prosecutorial conduct and whether or not prosecutors would go after a doctor who said in good faith, I gave this person an abortion because I felt like their health was going to be at risk. But you had a number of the liberal justices say this could lead to women having real issues with their fertility in the future if they are allowed to get so sick that their organs fail, or that they have to have forced hysterectomies because they got so sick that they had to get that care before they were on death's door. So a really interesting case here. It's going to have a large impact because a number of states had trigger laws. So when the justices decide what they want to do with this case, it's going to definitely have ripple effects around the country.
Yes, because I mean, the scare tactics are well known, and you heard that woman verbally diarrhea all of that out there. All you got to do is listen to Ben Carson, the famous doctor, the surgeon who used to work on newborns, and he said, and Ron Paul, right, another famous person of medical experience, who said, both of them said the whole list of things that they bring out, like they prance out in front of you, virtually never happen. It's not even enough to calculate a percentage point. But I was actually with family last week, and they were talking about one of the abortion laws, and God bless this family member of mine who repeated this one girl was 12 and she got pregnant and they forced her to have the child. And this person's a Catholic, and I looked at him and I said, better than killing the baby. But they still regurgitate this type of propaganda. Of course, do you have the video? Do you have the commercial, Steve?
Yeah, here's the one. Gruesome News is pushing it around.
This doesn't help.
We're almost there. You're gonna make it.
You're gonna be able to kill that child.
Trump Republicans want to criminalize young Alabama women who travel for reproductive care.
Miss, I'm going to need you to step out of the vehicle, take a pregnancy test.
Stop them by taking action at
Face
righttotravel.org.
on the hood.
Campaign for
Look
Democracy
up.
group is responsible.
Look scared? Cut. All right. I mean, come on, folks. Really? Really? First of all, let's be real. They would have had a woman do the pregnancy test, not a guy. And secondly, like, come on. That's it. And the thing is, we are in such a separated society, Steve, and then I'll let you loose on all of this stuff, that people honestly believe it.
Yeah, I mean, as ridiculous as that video is, it's kind of like Corbett's propaganda watch video series that he does, and there's people that buy that stuff. There's you think about what idiot's going to believe this. There are plenty out there. Remember how many people think a blue this thing protects you from the scariest, most deadliest thing known to man a couple years ago. I mean, greater than anything else. This little thing that said on the box does not help you against this. This was supposed to save your life. So people will buy into all that. I mean, you see it, just talk to somebody. I mean, I remember, I'll never forget this is calling my inner Rick. I was giving an Uber ride down in Denver, Colorado one time, and the lady gets in the car, and somehow she brings up guns and talked about how scary everything was. And I mentioned how they don't just automatically go off like magic. She literally was under the belief that just looking at one, it would rise up, float, aim it at her, and go off immediately. I had to explain her that's not how, and if I'm lying, I'm dying. We went through this conversation, and I had to tell her, I'm no professional, but you have to pull the trigger to have something like that go off. And I actually recommended her go to one of there's tons of them out there, not gun shows, but the places where you can learn how to shoot and have somebody teach how to do it. And I go, if you educate yourself on that, you won't be as fearful over something that you don't know anything about. And she's like, maybe I'll do that. It's just simple, common sense that you think, if you drink water, you get hydrated, and then therefore you won't die of dehydration. Some people don't know that. I guarantee you'll find somebody that doesn't know that water is good for you.
Well, it depends on the water, right?
It depends on the water. Yes. But
you got to make sure it's Fiji. and the right acidity level. If
Well,
it's not,
yeah, we go with that route. We get into that.
you're going to be in problems. You're going to be in danger.
But
Danger,
before
danger.
poisoning the bottles and the water and the air and all that, back in the, you drink water and not having out of a tap, and like how we did back out of a hose. Yeah, it's people. Was it George Carlin? The people suck. Yes, as a whole, we do. I mean, if you don't think that doesn't work, there's a reason why there's marketing departments and people go through and try to figure out what works, what triggers you, it gets your emotions up, all that jazz. You brought up the Dr. Paul and Ben Carson's. Dr. Nathanson, if you ever read his book on his conversion and how he got, was it the hand of God? I think it is. It talks about how he got the abortion laws in. And he mentions, quote up, I lied to them. I made them think that women were dying, that rape was all, you needed rape and incest.
Back alley abortion. The back alley abortion.
Hangers, that came from him. The back, was it the sidewalk hangers and all that?
Yep.
Back alley hangers. He said, made all that stuff up. There's none of that. And he goes, after we got that law passed that for rape and incest, rape went up like 5,000%. He goes, everyone's coming off the street. I got raped. No problem. Nothing on them. No evidence of it. Smiling. But as long as you said the key word, kind of like a squatter. When a squatter goes into a house, they just have to say, I have a lease. And there's,
you come across the southern border and you say amnesty.
Yeah. Just say you got to say the magic word you're in. Man. And here's a couple of not screenshots, but the links that I've seen already going around. Colorado Newsline, air transports out of Idaho, which has a near total abortion ban for pregnancy complications at one of the state's largest hospitals, have increased from 1 in all of 2023 to 6 in the past 4 months. Now, if you read the article, somebody actually posted it down there. So if you read the article, it says nothing like this. It's basically just goes after the headlines. Everybody that looks at this is going to go for headlines, just like that video. No one's going to read in and dig in what's going on. It's a headline. And memes make the world go round. PBS, federal law called the Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act, or EMTALA. If you're nasty, we got to work on the acronyms. EMTALA requires doctors to stabilize or treat any patient who shows up at an emergency room. And please, if you can find me anybody in Pro-Life Inc., they're tweeting harder. They don't even tweet. No, take that back. I lied. They're not even tweeting harder on this. I don't know where they're at. It took me 30 minutes to find this. If you type in Idaho abortion, SCOTUS, there's all kinds of links. This is the only one I found that actually was on our side. It is the link from lifenews.com. Every state with an abortion ban allows emergency medical care for pregnant women, including Idaho. Jeffrey T. apparently says he's been in an emergency physician. As it says in his thing, we have to believe what he says in his bio. Physician for 30 years. I've never had to send anyone for an emergency abortion. That doesn't exist. And really, if you look at all that stuff, when they bring up rape and incest, what's the stat? Always like 1%, less than 1% of it always happens.
Barely. I mean, they have to do a lot of lying. They'll do things like they'll include ectopic pregnancies. If I'm not saying right, you know what I'm talking about. All kinds of things to get the abortion numbers up, because they have to, because that's the only way they do it. Like a lot of things, like mass shootings or COVID, they're always going to fudge the numbers. And if you ever look into the data more, you're going to say, well, that's an ectopic pregnancy is not an abortion. Oh, yeah, it is. We count it as that, or whatever the case. Remember, the government wants to kill babies, so they're going to do whatever they can and fudge whatever numbers they can, in order to push that narrative.
Arizona. I was trying to do a search before. We almost got on late. Rick wanted to do it too. I didn't get everything up until about 5 till, because I was looking at 2 things. Idaho, see if what the pro-life side was saying about Idaho, and Arizona. As anybody out there, please tell me, do we have pro-lifers in Arizona and Idaho, Catholic priests, and either one just dropping the darn hammer on what's going on? These are 2 areas right now going. Isn't this what we're wanting? I mean, Arizona's bringing up a law before they became a state to ban abortion outright. That's what we're trying to do, right? We're all I've seen is the other side chants, protests. Is the hi ho ho.
It's their religion, man. They are absolutely gonna go full tilt unless there's money to be made for us. And I hate to say it like that, people gonna get mad at me, but most of you guys are. Most of Trad Inc. is anyway at this point, so it doesn't matter. Unless there's money to be made, none of y'all give a rip. Now you may personally give a rip. Now don't get me wrong. Personally, you may be pro-life and you talk about it and stuff like that. The only person that I know is a guy from Tradcat who actually does rosary rallies in California, of all places, and actually tries to promote and tries to rally people. Have you ever seen pro-life rallies? No. You know why? Because a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are scared of being associated with it.
How many people traveled out to Dodger Stadium for a little tranny thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you got your photo ops, Jack. You got Jack out there doing it. You had Lifeside. You had all these guys going out there just because using a bishop to do it, to promote themselves too. I heard a peep out of Arizona or Idaho, anything like this. I mean, again, this goes back to federalism on this. We don't win these things. We don't do anything like that. And as Rick says, it's lazy. We just sit back and let DC handle it. You will forget 2.0. You'll get 5.0 on AI steroids. You'll get Skynet version of Roe, to the point that they might just, you got a baby? We're killing it anyways because you don't meet your social credit score. Call and say that. Tell me that's nuts. They've already talked about years ago that they were going to shut your energy off because you don't have your carbon credit score. They're doing that with they still got the crypto, not crypto, but the it just went stupid. The social credit system ends up with the digital currency. That's not, they didn't say, you know what, we're done with this, we're ripping this off. It's just over here on the side because you're focused on Trump Biden 2.0, second season of America's Next Top President, whatever selection, dictator, whatever you want to call them. And you got right now what January 6th, still stuff talking on. You're getting all these little distractions. Drew Crane Flash, we got a video of that. And these don't, like Rick didn't even know. Rick's works in the news field. If he's not going to see it, how many regular people aren't seeing stuff like that? Are all he's saying, oh yeah, Trump's getting away from this. What's his face? The mogul that did some kitty stuff. He's getting released from Weinstein. He might get released. Right? Snowden might get released. You're getting all this other stuff, but they're out there talking about bring it. If Idaho loses this, that's a camel's nose. You will get a federal abortion something in the not so distant future. You're never going to get that thing out after that.
It's just going to be another example that people are going to get mad at us about, where we have the ability, we have the opportunity to put our stamp on being pro-life at the state level, not having to rely on Washington, D.C., and we're going to fail. I'm not trying to be a fatalist. I'm not trying to be any of this other kind of stuff. Just got to understand, we're probably going to fail on this one because there's no money to be made and there's nothing to be done from it.
I'm an optimist. We're going to lose.
I'm not an optimist.
I go as say the churches up in Idaho. Maybe they're doing prayer vigils or something. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're sitting back, just twiddling their thumbs, see what's going on. Oh, yeah, SCOTUS, R9 are like the dictators will make the right decision. They're not looking like they're making. You hear some of the stuff they're saying. It doesn't look like they're going with it. I mean, even everyone's ACBs even going, what? They're doing what? I mean, guys, this was, again, I think that whole thing was a plan to get that out because it was a bad ruling. The original Roe gives it back to the states. And if they get that back up to a federal thing, they will make sure it's not a quote unquote bad ruling anymore. And they're going to have some kind of loopholes to make sure that that thing gets passed through and there's cemented in for the rest of your life in this abusive relationship union that nobody seems to ever want to get out of. Divorce is okay. It's not okay. But no. Society,
yeah, no fault divorce is fine. We just can't divorce from DC,
whatsoever. They blow their nose the wrong way. You can leave them for whatever, but you can never leave this abusive relation, no matter how bad DC beats you down, takes you away, throws you in jail, whatever. You got to stay in that till the kingdom comes. Till death do you part, literally, and then they'll take money from you after you die.
Oh yeah, I was telling somebody else, even you have the privilege of dying in this union where they're just going to take everything from you. So it just doesn't matter. But it's just another example of just bad catechism, if you will, or just bad teaching, where we have to believe that the federal government is the be all end all. And, you know, going to SCOTUS, and then we have the Catholic Amy Coney Barrett, who has always been, she's going to be, you know, she may have been on the vote to get rid of Roe, but she'll be more than happy to restamp and help her reputation with reasserting something like this for some other kind of reason. So that's our first one we're talking about. Unless we have anything else that I miss on the abortion one.
No, it's
The
just one of
abortion
those
topic.
things. I mean, everyone
Yeah.
else is missing it, and it
So,
goes
folks,
back. Not to say
yeah, you're
that
one.
evil's united, but
Yeah.
compared to us, they look like they're a working well machine. I mean, hey, no, what are we doing? We're doing some podcast interviews every so often. I think
You got some books. I mean,
got some
no,
books to sell.
I got a book.
Maybe
I
doing
got a book coming out in August, but still, we got books, man.
We
We got
got books.
books
We
to
got
sell.
some podcast interviews. We're doing this. We're putting some tweets out. Where the front line right now is Arizona and Idaho. I guess, I mean, I don't know what's going on in Alabama right now, but I'm sure there's somebody down there. And that video is coming out in Alabama soon. What are we doing? Where's to get the public? Because they're going to hit the streets just like they did in Kansas when they got the vote out right after Roe died, and they will win with that vote because they're going to win the emotional argument. They're going to get everyone scared the crap out of them to make you vote this way. Oh, we got to do this, or they're going to just let women die on the street.
Yeah, they're going to pull you over. They're going to pull
Where's
you over
our
at the border.
Where's our guy? We got one. Like I said, it took me 30 minutes to find that one article for Life News. And I mean, that's great that it was a good article. It's just, by the way, that doesn't happen anywhere. That's it. That's all we got. I mean, if we're getting flooded by info from everyone else, that's all we got.
Really
we deserve to get our butts kicked sometimes. But then we're going to get our butts kicked, and we're going to beg somebody, Trump, to bail us out. And then that's not going to work. It's just going to, here, let me, what was that, the link from Vegas Vacation? Let me just take your money. We'll go out back. I'll kick you in the balls a couple of times, and we'll call it a day. It's just, that's us.
If you feel better, as long as you feel better about it, and as long as it comes from DC, that's really what they want.
Just frustrating. It is. I mean, I saw the original thing at the gym. They had the news on and going, I wonder who else is, how many people talking about that. That was going on yesterday. I think oral arguments were the 24th. And the day after, barely a peep from Pro-Life Inc.
Mm-hmm. Why would there be? Why would there be any talking from Pro-Life Inc.? I mean, I love them. Some of them do great work, but in the same time, a lot of them are really just kind of for the moment. So you got to be careful.
We're good after the bomb drops.
Yeah. Well, as long as we got what we really wanted, which was Roe. We just wanted the federal one overturned. So that way we could, I don't know. I don't know why people wanted the federal, the government, the Roe to be overturned if they weren't ready to go attack at the local level. That's my big thing.
Well,
I just don't get it.
I know everyone is all triggered when you say the word Boris. I mean, he did a video 10, 12 years ago, Vortex, see you next year. And he got mad because when they were leaving, people were saying, see you next year. Hey, we're already getting it scheduled for next year. Isn't the point of that was for the March for Life? We've mentioned this before? Isn't the idea is to never have that again? And then Roe does go down, and they still have the march, and there's excuses and excuses. Oh, we're going to do it because X, Y, Z. We still got to do it. No, you don't. It's over.
No, we still have to do it. Now you have to understand, we still have to do it because reasons.
Yeah. So off a different topic. I still do the St. Paul Street team so often. Great guys, great mission, great ideas. I remember a phone call with them about 6 years ago, and they were mentioning they didn't have a step 2, and for the decade plus they've been around, they never had what's the next. You talk to them at the table, you give them medals, you give them this, you bring them in, you tell them, hey, bring them to a parish, whatever. Nobody had a what's next. Same thing with the Pro-Life Inc. All right, let's work for get Roe down. Okay, after Roe, what's our plan?
Mm-hmm.
Crickets. You in the back, Johnson. What's your plan? I have just no idea. And we're gonna watch Idiocracy 5 times. We have no idea. And then when it happens, you get caught with your pants down, and you're just like, "Hey George, what are we supposed to be doing? Oh, let's put a tweet out." What? And then things like this keep going on, and we don't have anybody there. No, again, the only media I found is anti-life tweets, texts, videos, news reporting. Everyone and their brother. Where's our guy? We should be hammering that right now.
Yeah, I mean,
every story, not just on your knees, everywhere, adorations all over the place, masses. Bring out every stop that we have to help out from. We need some, spiritual elite heaven on board on our side. No, is anything going on in any of those 2 states? Please tell me. I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that because it's
interesting. Susie talks about they're putting it on the ballot during a recreational weed. Yeah, so that they'll get more people. They want that's the weed industry doing that one because they want weed getting passed, obviously. And then most of those people that are going to be doing they're probably going to vote against pro-life on that. You don't see too many pieheads for life. Figure as pro-lifers at the March for Life. There's not a real big, high group at the pro-life.
High. You said high.
Tally's not walking around there.
Well, it's just not. And we can stop bashing Conservative Inc. because they're doing terribly, but our bishops are also doing terribly. Right? They're too busy talking about climate change. They're too busy talking about whatever, the border. My family's from El Paso, as I've said 500 billion times. The bishop in El Paso was going toe to toe with Ken Paxton, because Paxton's like, "Hey man, we got to shut down the Catholic Charities and other groups. You guys are helping facilitate illegal immigration." And he's come out, he's like, "Oh well, just like our Lord and Savior, all are welcome," and blah 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 blah. And I came out, and nobody gave a rip, but I still came out, and I said, "Listen, man, doesn't matter if you're Catholic Charities or whoever, if you are right now," and I've said this on this program before, I believe, if you are in any way, shape, or form facilitating illegal immigration, I don't even care if you're helping with the people at the border, you are participating in child sex trafficking. You are participating in the trafficking of women. And I know nobody wants to hear that, especially, Catholic Charities gets over 50% of its funding from the U.S. government for this very purpose. But, the bishop is too busy not saying, listen, we have to shut down the border because of child sex trafficking, because of the abuse of families and all this other kind of stuff. We want people to come here, right, for a better life, but they need to do it in a way that they can do it safely. Nope. They're like, nope, immigration for one, immigration for all. And meanwhile, where's the Idaho bishop? Right? There's got to be more than one bishop in Idaho that should know about this and should be railing. But then there's some act or something like that you can't preach from the pulpit, or it's not the Dick Act.
It's a lose the 501c status, which a couple of years ago, I remember them being threatened with it. I'm going, good. That might interject, as one priest used to say, that might give them a spinal implant.
Yeah. Oh no, now we have to pay taxes. Yeah. Like that would be terrible.
So they got you by the vice because of that 501c thing. But if you want to speak the truth, you may get a little martyrdom in you. You might have to pay a little bit extra just because, you got Biden out there, Brandon out there doing the sign of the cross on an abortion rally. And we'll tweet hard. We'll just retweet and tell him how bad he is, which got me into the thing about, hey, we endless tweets about praying for Trump. People sending him miraculous medals, rosaries, all good things. Good idea. Great. Why is he the only one? I don't get that. How come no one says that about their governor? How come no one says that about their local representative? How come no one says that about Brandon?
The actual Catholic? Yeah.
Throw him a miraculous medal one day. Maybe that converts them. There's how many stories we have of bad emperors or leaders that ended up converting. Are we just so Americanized, quote unquote, that my team versus their team? It doesn't matter. I screw them. I'm going to pray for this guy and the heck with this guy because he has a D or an R by his name. I'll pray for this one, but I'm not going to pray for that one. It goes back to the border thing. I remember a priest telling me that there's a lot of mosques on the border, on the Mexican side of the border, of the southern Texas border. I refuse to call it the United States country border because these still, if you want, I was talking to a priest. I actually wrote Bishop Strickland about this. You want to help out? Stop calling this a country. Start calling it what it really is. Precision. Words matter. Let's be precise. It's a republic. It's 50 countries in one union. It's not a country. Every time you hear someone say country, going, you're not being precise. You're buying into that Lincolnian idea that started after with Bellamy, a self-proclaimed socialist, by the way. We ain't socialism unless it's a pledge, and we love the socialist. We got to be precise about this. You beat this at the local and state level, which is going on right now. And we're on the sidelines twiddling our thumbs with the water boy.
Yeah, it is something that we could easily defeat. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? Well, California did it for years when it came. They're still doing it. They were the ones who set the standard with both immigration and marijuana, if you think about it. Yeah, marijuana is still technically a controlled substance.
Yeah, marijuana.
California was the first one. Colorado and California were the first ones to be like, yeah, we don't really care if it's federal. You can do it here.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. And yet we sit and we're like, well, we can't defy. And that's the problem. And it kind of speaks to our nature of being in conformity and discipline. And, you know, as Catholics, we don't want to supposedly break the law, right? We want to stay within the confines and stay in a good standing and then be good members of our community. So, Steve, in a way, it's not in our nature to be that rebellious, even though, right, an unjust law requires no discipline to it. But we've been programmed as conservatives, not as Catholics, but as conservatives, to be law-abiding.
Well, kind of like this.
I want to stress that there is misinformation being communicated across social media, and people should not share any of that information. The source of information should be from police and law enforcement authorities, and if people have concerns, they should check our websites, our socials, and any other direct news from law enforcement about current information. If we have current credible information about any risk or threat to the community, we will let them know. We will share that with the community.
Don't think, don't look up, don't research. We will tell you if it's okay or not. We are the bastion of truth. You are not. Yep. Don't you think you
pay no attention? Pay no attention to what's going on over there, even though now there are knife stabbings. And the people in Australia, I know I have to say it, the government actually said, well, if we didn't have these gun laws, the stabbings would have been worse. And it's like, that's not how it works, but that's okay. The Aussies, man, you know, we don't think about this, but the Aussies, was at New Zealand. I don't know. They're so
New Zealand's got they're more kamatama.
Right. Yeah. Either one of them. I mean, the Aussies were a prison colony and they're living up to that reputation right about now. And New Zealand just has, you know, little brother syndrome. So they're just going to do whatever the Aussies and pretty much everybody else do.
And then again, that they're centralized. Everyone after the French Revolution, everything gets centralized. Italy used to have republics. Now it's one Italy, one united front. Yep. France, yep. Germany, all that one united front. When you get one united front, it game over. Here's a couple just back in our neck of the words of some unconstitutional stuff going on.
Alleged, but it has to be proven. Malum in se is a concept long viewed as appropriate in law, that there's some things that are so fundamentally evil that they have to be protected against. Now, I think, and your answer below, I'm going to give you a chance to say if you stay by it. If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts for which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
It could, and why? Because he's doing it for personal reasons. He's not doing it like President Obama is alleged to have done it, to protect the country from a terrorist. He's doing it for personal gain. And isn't that the nature of the allegations here? That he's not doing these acts in furtherance of an official responsibility. He's doing it for personal gain.
I agree with that characterization of the indictment, and that confirms immunity, because the characterization is that there's a series of official acts that were done for an unlawful.
No, because immunity says even if you did it for personal gain, we won't hold you responsible.
Just wanted to clarify. It's okay if a president drops a drone on U.S. citizens wherever they are in the world. Obama did it. Trump did it.
Yep.
Clinton did it. It's okay. Totally cool. It's actually patriotic. Your tax dollar money will actually go out and help promote more drone bombing of innocent civilians all over the world that are even citizens of these United States of America. Yep. But I saw them going, what in the wide world of sports are they even talking about right here? Again, a distraction of what's going on. It's just part of the days of our Trump, as I mentioned last time. Here's what Brandon's doing right now at the gas stations.
Is being sued over its hiring practices. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission filed the suit this morning. It claims that the way Sheetz bases employment on criminal records disproportionately screens out Black, Native American, and other multiracial applicants, and that this violates federal law. The suit does not accuse Sheetz of being motivated by race when making hiring decisions. We have reached out to Sheetz for comment, but so
I'm trying to read this state constitution thing. It's like, where in here does it say the U.S. federal government can go after gas stations on their hiring
process? It
process?
says it, Steve. After Joey B strolls on into not one but two of them, and everybody was like, "What's that old dude doing in here?" Because he was trying to do the bodega thing that Trump did after going to court, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's Trump!" And then they did that, and then Joe Biden's like, "I'll go to the gas station," and they're like, "Did you poop your pants again? What are you doing? The bathroom's over there if you want to go do it." And he was like, and then so nothing tells you you're in a Venezuela banana republic more than the president going to a business, the business not giving him the proper treatment, and then all of a sudden 2 days later that business is being sued for unquestionable hiring practices. The next time he's going to go into a business is going to be like Kim Jong-un going into like the volleyball thing when you see everybody doing the clapping and the dancing at the same time. It's all going to be choreographed. Yep. And it's just your government at work, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers on that.
Speaking of just your government at work. And I'm with MTG out at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Did you see that? She wants a amendment. New amendment would force reps who support Ukraine aid to join Kyiv's army, military.
I'm fine with that.
Fantastic idea.
I'm fine with that. And it was actually kind of funny because Nikki Haley emerged from her bunker to say she was supporting it, and then she was getting blasted like, "Why don't you send your kids?" And then her kid was like, "I'm not going to Ukraine." It's like, well, you need to shut up too, kid, because you're making money off of your mom drone bombing everybody else into oblivion. So y'all, this is not the flex you think it is.
And that's another thing. If you want that done, you don't want the money going over to fund killing other people like this. There's a simple way of doing it. We mentioned it before. You have divorce. You say, bye-bye, we're done. We're keeping our own money. By the way, you get an automatic pay raise because you don't have an income tax anymore. I remember New Hampshire had a list of like 100 things, things that would happen the minute you break away from the union. Number one, pay raise. I don't know how that's not the sales pitch for everyone right now. Go up to you. Do you enjoy paying money? By a show, by round of applause. How many enjoy paying money on legalized theft day, April 15th?
You all enjoyed 2 weeks ago when you had to pay out when you were hoping for your tax season. Steve, we have a season now where people celebrate the return of stolen wealth.
Yeah.
It's hey, did you get your tax return? I mean, this is the first year in almost 3 years, I actually got a return from the money that was stolen. You should see some of the things that the government takes out of my wife's check. My wife's like, how do they do this? How'd they get away with it? I'm like, hon, nobody cares because movie theaters are open, fast food places are able to get food, everybody's fat and happy and content. So look at property taxes. Property tax is the biggest wealth theft ever because you never truly own your house. You and I are renters, Steve. Yeah. I supposedly own, I'm putting in to own this house. But if I miss a property tax payment for a couple years in a row, guess what? I'm out on the street. Same as you if you miss a couple payments on your rent. Everybody's a renter. And the fact that they're like, oh, well, home ownership there is no home ownership. No, it's all taxes. And the reason why, and I'll end my spiel here, the reason why it's accepted in these United States is because 90% of property taxes are rolled into mortgages where people don't even see them. Mm-hmm. That's why they can up them. They're like, oh, my mortgage payment went up by $25. Yeah, because your property tax increased by $2,000 and just spread it over 72 years.
That's why I played that opening clip of the guy from MSNBC. I do not know how they got it up there. I mean, he went to town and dropped hammers on them and then basically told them they were the problem. Yeah. It was almost Dave Chappelle style with Trump going, he told everyone that's what we're doing. They went back in there and did it. Yeah, I mean, the home ownership right now, how many people are not owning a home? I can't even think about my guy here wants the buy ours for $400,000. This is not even close to he wants to come by tomorrow, I think, and take a photo of the outside because the roses are blooming. I'm going, yeah, that's going to sell it. That's
it right there, buddy. That's where the money is.
But I mean, because as one guy talked about, more inflation is so high, you have the interest rates sky high, and you have high prices, which are never together at this, and only because of the low unemployment rate, which is, I don't know how they're keeping it that level or that number right now. That thing changes. It's, might as well just it'd be equivalent to putting TNT in a golf cart. See that's what it's going to look like after. What if the unemployment goes up, which it could happen any minute, especially with AI coming out. That story on AI. But hey, as long
is it the Wendy's one? Huh? Is it the Wendy's one? Yeah, okay. We'll get to that in a second.
Is a critical ally of ours, and I think most people understand the necessity of this funding. They're fighting for their very existence. They're the only stable democracy in the Middle East. I mean, of course, for those of us who are believers, it's a biblical admonition to stand with Israel. We will, and they will prevail as long as they're with them. And this is an important, very important symbolic gesture and a very important replenishment of their stockpiles, for example, of the Iron Dome. The reason they shot down all those drones and missiles in the last attack by Iran is because we assisted with that. I think the American people understand
I forgot to tell everybody that was our Zionist portion of the program coming up, sponsored by
Jubilee. Yeah, we had to get that in or they shut us down if we don't do our weekly, kowtowing to the Israelites, and it's just
Rick's boy Mike Johnson is out there just talking.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I did not say that in any way, shape, or form. Not in any way, shape, or form. Nope.
Everyone, their brothers calling for his head, rightfully. It's really fun to watch. But did we say that at the beginning that I think we even had a video of somebody saying the next one will be worse than the last one.
Yeah, that's just how it is because this dude was never ready for prime time. You can say what you want about McCarthy, but McCarthy was at least a dealer and he knew how to get some things done. This guy doesn't know how to do anything, and he's getting absolutely smoked for it. And
I'll play the NTG, the Green statement that she gave in an interview afterwards, but she drops a couple cuss bombs during it. I mean, it's to the point now. Does Trump pick her as Veep? If so, that's going to be.
She does.
You have to watch video if you want to watch any of the press conferences with Trump and MTG. But man, it's just that's what people want.
Yep, that's absolutely what people want because that's. And we've had John tell us many times about the falsity of the believers having to support Israel. But no matter how many times we have somebody intelligent like John say it, or we try to say it, it's just baked in, man. And we know why. And I know we don't have anything on this, but there's a reason why they actually care about the protests at the Ivy League schools for freeing Palestine. you know, they were able to get away with
tonight's protest.
I think the goal is just showing our support for Palestine and demanding that NYU stops. I honestly don't know all of what NYU is doing.
Is there something that NYU is doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure they're. Do you know what NYU is doing? About what? About Israel. Why are we protesting here?
Palestine will be free.
I wish I was more educated. I'm not either.
Oh.
I came from Columbia. I was there up at Columbia, and we came down. They said NYU students needed our support, so I came down. I heard there's lots of.
There's a couple. There's a reason why they're threatening to shut down funding now and not when there was all these other things, because of a certain group has put pressure on them. Now, let me just.
You ever seen PCU?
Huh?
You ever seen PCU?
I've actually never seen it. No.
Politically Correct University, the movie.
No, I haven't seen it.
You'll love it. Go watch it. You'll see. You're going, wow, that's them.
Yeah. The second thing I need to make point is, and I'm not trying to be mean, but this is a prime example of why liberal white women have failed the West. And 99% of them, not 97, let's say 97% of them actually don't know what's going on. And they probably don't even share the same view, but they do understand. And this goes all the way back to, you know, older societies. Women, their strength is in the collective, right? And they do not want to be outside of that. The only time women are, and I'm not trying to be sexist, but this is kind of true, is when they become married and stable in a relationship. That's why the statistics of women tend to become more conservative after they're married, because they're stable. But if they're not, then they tend to just go with whatever the thing is, because they want to be secure in that way. Now, there's also the fact that this generation that's there is so desperate to actually be a part of something that they would be willing to go with these stupid protests and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a sense, you use the false flag ideas of Israel and the campus stuff, and you got the TikTok ban that went down. Oh, we got to ban TikTok. That's all. What you promised us student loans, so you gave us a TikTok ban. What happened? Because bad China. They scare you. Goes back to the first one. They scare you. China. When we brought it up, we showed it a couple times. It was 70% of it's U.S. owned companies. Companies, good old U.S. of A. own TikTok. But hey, China. Oh, they're going after your data. Well, your cell phone's doing that. Your smart. General Petraeus is on record saying your dishwasher was spying on you 15 years ago. Your smart TV. You say anything around a device, you get junk mail that talks about what you did. Facebook's giving you ads, exactly what you're looking for.
Yep.
What
I mean, I'm looking for a car right now. I dread the spam mail that's going to be coming towards me just for the vehicles I'm looking at. They're going to be like, "Oh, we saw you were no, thank you, no, thank you."
You're going to get calls. You're already on the do not call list. You're going to get calls anyways. Hey, you need that car?
Every call that's ever been made, they're going to call.
But it's TikTok. TikTok's the reason. We're going to be saved. We're saved now. TikTok is banned. Happy days are back again. But
that's the whole point, man. That is the whole point. They need to get rid of. And once again, TikTok is being banned because of its hostility towards certain ethnicities, whatever.
It's kind of like the Pizzagate thing. It wasn't about the pizzeria.
Nope.
Just like what's his face with Nixon, the Watergate. What wasn't about a hotel.
You know, the crazy thing is, like, when you actually, I don't know if you saw the interview Tucker did with Rogan, that one part about Watergate.
I didn't. I kind of, to be honest, I haven't watched the Tucker thing in quite some time. It's
pretty interesting when he lays out.
I'm glad they're talking about it, but neither one of those guys. It's kind of, how would you say? They're not taking any risks now. If they wanted to take a risk, they should have done it 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and said the things they're saying now. Then that's a risk. Or even like the Rona stuff. How many of us were dancing around trying not to get kicked off platforms every day? I was thinking every day I'm going to get kicked off something because of it. Playing the cat and mouse game. Now it's okay. Now you can say whatever you want to say on anything. and be fine with it. A couple, 6, 7, 8 years ago, no, you could. There's certain things you couldn't say, but they had a cush job, so they had to play the game. It's hard for me. I'm glad they're doing it. It's getting some of the normies, I guess, starting to think, but I can't call them leaders in the in the movement, because it's kind of like they waited till the shelling stopped and then came out saying, "Oh, we've been here since day one."
Yeah, we were on the front lines here, guys.
Yeah.
We were just in the bunker waiting for everything to be set. So not great.
While they're stepping on other people's heads, they got blown off. They're like, "Hey, yeah, we were here. Hey, John, it's good to see you again."
Yeah, I was here the whole time. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He's like Joaquin Phoenix's character in Gladiator when they show up after and they're like, "Have I missed the battle?" And it's like, "Yeah, good job, buddy." Yep. Have I missed it?
Clifford Franklin back in the Replacements. Oh, you were Batman, Clifford Franklin.
You were hiding behind the jukebox the entire time. Yeah. Clifford Franklin. I love Clifford Franklin like a cold. Clifford Franklin gonna catch it. Clifford Franklin gonna want to come down with it. I love that. Oh, that is a movie you'll never get made today. I'll tell you that much. You'll never get that movie made today. But that's one of my favorites.
Anything by Mel Brooks wouldn't get made.
Yep. Yeah. So unbelievable that you have all of these. And listen, the crazy thing about these protests on the college campuses, Steve, is that like school ends in 2 weeks. So are they gonna stick around? Are these kids gonna be like, "Oh, free Palestine"? Oh, wait, it's May 1st. See ya.
It's just to prove propaganda things. They're probably staying around getting, okay, you guys are allowed here. If they zoom out, probably wouldn't be, they'll be like waiting orders.
The thing is, like, they cancel classes. You can just do the rest of the semester online. You can do all this other kind of stuff. So, just like what I always call out when they do like, "Oh, these XYZ high school has walked out in protest of gun rights." I'm like, 99% of the 97% of those kids are like, "We get the day off. Yeah, give me the sign.
Yeah, I'll do whatever you want to get a day off." I mean, you're 18, 19, 20 years old. You're doing anything. Your head is not in for the principle of the matter. You're doing anything you can to either get out of school, get out of work, or get the girl. One of the three is happening.
Yep. That's absolutely 100% correct. And Laura, you're correct. Trump is pro-Israel and he's pro-Ukraine.
Oh, very.
He loves both of them. And so you're not going to get much of a change at that. But that's, once again, what's the big thing that we talk about on this show? Appealing to Washington, D.C. is going to get you nothing but heartache. Nothing but heartache. There is no solution for any of this from D.C. None. It's just none. And so let's see. So we had that. Oh, by the way, I know Steve doesn't have this, but speaking of that, we were talking about immigration earlier. The judge in El Paso, a federal judge, has actually said that all of the people that stormed the border, remember that famous video a couple weeks ago where this group of people attacked the National Guard of Texas, and none of them getting charged. No, a federal judge in El Paso was like, no, and just moved on with it. So once again, Texas is being pushed into a corner where they're going to have to make a decision, Steve. I know we're not talking about this, but Texas is going to have to make a decision. Let's say Biden is reinstalled in November. There's going to have to be a decision made by Texas, which is the only red state on the border anymore. Red state on the border. What are we going to do? Are we going to continue to assert state authority over the border? What do we do in this case? Are we going to continue to let this happen? It's going to be interesting going forward.
I mean, I think something's going to go down after the selection. I meant to say selection. If Trumpzilla goes in, you'll have the West Coast, which threatening to break away 4 years ago if Trump would have gotten in. And you talk about praying. I was going, please, Lord.
Yeah, don't tease me. Don't tease me with a good time on that one.
Yeah, please. They may break away. Who knows? That'd be great. It'd be okay. It's okay when they do it. So if they do it, great. It won't be called racist. If the other works the other way, it should break up anyways. That's the key. If you want a solution to fixing this whole nonsense, you got to break this thing up. You got to convert it afterwards, but you got to break it up. That's step one. It's out of scale. It goes back to the idea of if we use everyone's logic, if this is one country, you got one guy to run 320 million people as a elected king, which he's not supposed to be, but we treat him like him. And that's what the founders actually said that will happen. I think even Franklin brought up when you put because they talked about the pay and power by itself weren't a big issue, but you put the two together, you're going to get the worst of the worst. Yeah. And look what we got. 200 years later, we got pay and power. And then afterwards, they get a price. They get paid, and protection for the rest of their year. They make more money afterwards. They're celebrities. Was it John Adams? Or was it JQ? Or was it JQ Adams? I think it was. After the presidency, he went back to this Congress because what else does he do? He thought there was more power there. And then when he died, the U.S. government gave him an IOU. And his kids wrote them back, told him to go pound sand. The guy, he gave him all there's none of that. That servant that you used to have back in those days. Again, why do people not run for state house? You don't know their name. We played that dude from South Carolina a couple weeks ago. Anybody watch it, put a gun in your head. Tell me that guy's name. No one's going to be able to do it. But MTG, what's her face, Cortez. You even
know Tulsi Gabbard. She's not even in Congress anymore.
No Tulsi. You get on the Fox. You get those cush jobs at Fox. You get on those quote unquote national programs. You're now invited to all those speaking events. This has nothing to do with liberty and all the Constitution. It's being used. All that you talk about grifting. Anybody's a politician. That's king grifts. You use those things to get your way, to get money, to use that to crap on everyone that you tell that you're going to do something for, which you're not supposed to do anything for anyways. But yeah, I mean, that's why you want to fix it. You go to the state house, and look at his humility. You're going to bust your tail to do something and not be known for it. Isn't that what we talk about, humility? And not.
It's funny when they get paid $200,000+ a year, or whatever it is, plus their living expenses are all written off, folks. It's not just that when they talk about, I have to pay for my expenses. All that stuff's written off. They all get bonuses. That's why they all get like incentives, or what is it when you get stipends for like Teslas and stuff like that. But yet they all call themselves public servants. As a public servant does not. The servants are the people actually working at jobs right now, trying to keep their businesses afloat in this economy. Servants are people who are actually trying to go out and do things for people for minimum wage, or the guy that's fixing my roof. He's a servant because he's technically working for me to try to do the best job that he can. People who become millionaires, people like Nancy Pelosi, who have accumulated wealth, generational wealth, is not a servant. They are not servant. They are a bourgeoisie bureaucratic.
It's always comical when you see the old guy get up, go, "You work for me." Yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, they're like, "Okay, buddy."
Speaking of one of those lifelongers,
having the TikTok force of the sale of TikTok, not a TikTok ban, people would still be able to do TikTok. Do you think that helps you get to the number 7918?
Well, let me tell you what that was about. That was about national security, and
I'm
a big defender of the First Amendment and free speech. But when it comes to national security, we were all concerned about the control of.
I forgot that he said that. You remember? Did you hear that? What he said? I'm all about the First Amendment. Wait, what does the first? Congress shall not
make.
What did they just do? They are Congress shall not. Forget about it. That was a couple weeks ago. The Fourth Amendment, because of the that little surveillance thing. They go after the second author. Again, the first 10 amendments, what Congress shall not do to the rest. It doesn't matter if Spartanburg, South Carolina does X to you or free speech. That violates the state of the Constitution. That's a different story. Congress shall not fill in the blank. It's been over. When John Taylor Carrollton used to say it was over in the 1790s, anybody thinks that this thing is on life support, you talk about pessimism, or you think about optimism. You're thinking, wow, what has to be done for you to think we can fix this thing? One vote will fix this thing.
Yeah, and the problem is, folks, with your vote is that you cannot vote out the layers of bureaucracy that exist there. That's a doomerous mindset. I get it, but
Yeah.
you have to think about it. It's not Biden or Trump or Pelosi or Cruz or Gabbard or MG. It's the person on floor 3 of, Maryland Ave or whatever it is in DC that's running your stuff, that's making the law. Think about it. When Trump got elected in 2016, they came out and they said, yeah, we're just going to slow roll everything he does. And it wasn't there was the representatives, it was the people in the bureaucracies that are like, oh yeah, we got this order. We'll get to it when we do. We'll get to it when we can. And sorry if that's not good enough for you. And so it's pretty sad to see. And that's a problem with the nation thing. We have a nation, we have to support Ukraine. We as a nation, we have to support Israel. We as a nation have to support Taiwan. Every single bill now, it seems like, has money designated to those 3 things. And then we're going to give $15 to, child lunches in schools. I'm not a big proponent of public schools. I get it. But still, when you think of the amount of money that has just been force fed across to these places, and yet you see homelessness going up, people struggling, no wonder people are angry. No wonder people are upset that at this any level of government, they're seeing people wave flags of other countries, which is actually a violation on the House floor. You're seeing all of these other things, and yet they're just like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps as we continue to have inflation go through the roof and nobody can afford a home and Steve can't buy his own home and whatever the case may be. Just shut up, because the people in Ukraine need our help. It's like, it's not the fit. And then you had that representative that's running for some government position here in Texas. They're like, if Ukraine falls, the United States is next. It's like, I didn't know Ukraine was in the Caribbean. Is Jack Sparrow off the coast of Ukraine, ready to invade it? And so it's absolutely crazy.
Here's one for you. I saw this earlier. Let's see, where's it at? German army prepares plan to ready U.S. troops to fight on NATO's eastern front.
And there's not an American in that picture, which is kind of funny too. So it's like,
again, that goes back to Congress Declaration of War, which goes into NATO's medical things, the WHO's edicts coming down the pipe. Eventually, again, that might sound crazy about forced abortions down the road, but if you got less docs, less nurses, AI is kicking over, that there might be a time that if you don't do a home birth, and even then you might be in trouble. I mean, I was thinking about saving it for later. The pentagram, AI dogfighting, next level of real world flight tests. Skynet is activated. You have AI fighters in real time now. And what's to make them say, oh, they're going to drone bomb somebody over here because you made a video calling out the centralized authority or something like that. They do that now. They do that with people doing that. It's called joysticks. And you sit there and that's why they recruit gamers for these things. It's not even getting people in the front anymore. It's you push a button and somebody dies. It takes the human.
You've seen, I know you've seen the video, the new Boston Dynamics robots.
The dog from years ago.
Yeah. Atlas and stuff like that. The new ones that are coming up. Folks, they can just throw on literally a kit that they would throw on a U.S. soldier, like your regular plate armor with all that stuff. And they can just have some fat guy from Wall-E sitting in a chair, just directing where the drone goes. Yeah, that guy's going to be coming at your door once he does that. Once you shoot him in the leg, once you shoot him in the arm, and he's like, okay, well, I'm not a person, so shooting my arm off is not a big deal. And then he turns around like that, and he's wearing a plate carrier vest, and there he comes.
It's the T-100.
Yeah. And yet people are just smiling as they're whistling past the graveyard on it.
Well, that brings up to the point. I'm sure everyone has heard about this. Father Justin, interactive AI, the answers. And I know he got stripped. He's now a canceled priest.
Well, Enoch said it perfectly. He was martyred. Right?
He was martyred.
He was a martyr. He was the first AI martyred.
April. I think
Yeah.
Butlers will come out with one later.
Yep.
Everyone and their brother. I was joking with Megan yesterday. I was going around yesterday getting everything done, take care of what I usually do. I still want to get everything done, and I was trying to get specific citrus soil for the lemon plant in the back because I didn't get the right soil because the legs the roots aren't supposed to get wet legs, as they call it, wet, and so the specific soil keeps them so it grows and lifts. And that was my number one concern. Everyone on Catholic Twitter or X was losing it over this thing. And
Father AI.
it goes back. I remember talking to somebody about it going, wait a minute. AI fighter jets, crickets, AI being used in all this stuff, the Boston Dynamics. You got the.
Do you have the video of the AI Wendy's?
I can find it.
Yeah, there's a video out there of a drive-through that is now using at Wendy's, which is using AI. And of course, where is this? This is happening in California because what did they do? They said, "Hey, we're gonna raise the minimum wage to like $30 an hour or whatever the case may be." There it is. Hey, man! Instead of having the guy being like, "We're gonna," it's now going to be AI, which may mess up your order, but at least you can fix it when it's on screen instead of the guy being like 1445 thank you, and then so forth. It's all over, man. And yet we're embracing it. And I know people are embracing Elon Musk. He says, well, AI is coming and we just need to accept it and be the vehicle for it. And everybody else is like, yeah, I guess it's a good idea. And then you have the Catholic Church, modern Catholic Church, modernity church, which is just so desperate to be with the new cool thing. Oh, we have an AI priest too. It's like, we don't even have enough real priests.
Well, my thing is, I get the idea of it. I think it was a cool idea, cool use of tech. If it's for apologetics and things like that, hey, what is the answer to this? Isn't that what the whole idea is supposed to be? A search engine type deal, kind of like ChatGPT. And then I saw people actually trying to do like, upset at some of the responses they gave them. I'm going, are we? I wish I had the time on my hand just to play around to get mad and try to trigger an AI bot so I can get a click on Twitter or whatever. And like now, I get the point of someone. I remember I asked somebody online. It's not like this thing. People are going to get sacraments from this. Apparently, someone did ask about confession. I'm going, okay, if we're that stupid to think that the AI on a search engine just forgave your sins, you might need a little extra help. Or
you need to go to RCIA again. I don't even care if you need to go again.
I mean, it's like kind of pump the brakes. We're all triggered over that united. You talk about uniting the clans. That united a ton of people. I'm so glad people got on that crusade to shut that down because I feel much better. The birds were chirping louder today. The sun was brighter. Yes, I'm being sarcastic, but because I'm again quiet on literally everything else coming down the pipe. We found our trigger over here with Father Justin. Or the AI thing.
I got to call him Father Justin.
On everything we've been talking about for the last 2, 3, 4 years, technocracy, the new Great Reset, all that stuff coming down. Silence. Yep. Oh, we got Justin. Let's lose it.
Yeah. Well, it's sexy, right? It's sexy because it's like, look at the church. The church is terrible. Okay,
I was talking about, I think it was Byzantine Cat guy on Twitter going, dude, these guys, he's not saying mass. He's not doing, he's answering a question.
Yeah. Yeah. And now that you put it that way, I do agree with you. It is neat if they wanted to do it that way.
Yeah. I mean, talking about the guy that programmed the thing. Everyone's giving him, that's a cool idea. Now, could have been something else. Could have used a different avatar. Fine. Yeah, great. Okay, cool. That's marketing. Figure out something else if you want. I didn't see an issue because I don't want to say I'm bright, but I want to say I kind of knew that wasn't a priest. Call me.
Really? The avatar wasn't convincing enough for you that you were like, wow, that's actually like a real priest right there. That's crazy.
You didn't get me. I don't know why. Maybe I just think wear the muzzles enough. I don't know. I just didn't. He didn't sell me on that. Maybe it was his eyes. He didn't have the right. There was something fishy about that guy. and it wasn't a sandwich. And I don't know, man. It's just
yeah. The fact is that more people are being, and the crazy thing is, like, how long until something like the public school system is just taken over with AI? Because kids are already using ChatGPT and all that stuff for answering their own questions. How long until you replace a teacher with, a camera and a couple smart boards, and it's just like, this is today's stuff, this is what you have to do, and everybody's just on their laptop.
Well, that was the whole thing with the Rona shutdown, getting schools at the home with kids, get them used to tech and all that. You brought it up with the colleges at home now. You could do it at home real quick too. All right, we'll do it at home. That's what they wanted to do, because now you don't have to travel. You don't have to, pump carbon out in the world, so you don't have to travel anymore. You clean the planet. You got to keep you from not moving. Just like those videos I had of not Utopia. What was it? Something Utopia. This was like 3-4 years ago. Go to the Cespedalian channel, check out the Great Reset thing. I got the video of it where the guy just sits there, and it's literally, he's working the whole thing in his mind. And there's another one with they're at the office, and their thoughts are being not programmed, but being monitored through the computer. Like she's having a thought of the new guy, if he works out or something. She's like, oh no, I got to take him off because I'm going to get fired if they see my thoughts, which there's literally video of them back in 2021, 2020, talking about your thoughts is the last thing that we haven't gotten to yet. And they're working on it. And they've had it. It's on their freaking websites, how they're trying to do it. But again, and what was that yesterday? You talk about distraction. Hold on. I wish I could hit myself with a baseball bat. I got all the bats outside. It was like one of those popped right here. And what was going on yesterday during when everyone was going, oh, Justin Trigger, Idaho abortion thing going down. Not a peep that's getting said about that. Everyone was focused on AI Justin. Thanks,
future,
guys.
AI Justin, he is the future.
Hope they got your clicks in and all that. You got triggered by an AI avatar.
Right. Yep.
Sorry, I'm just looking at it going, guys, come on. Perfect. Now I got to pick another cry room because I used them all in the last 10-minute rant.
Yeah, that's fine. You can pick. You want to just put him in the cry room? That's fine. If you want to take
bird flu spreads cows. Fraction U.S. response as echoes of early Rona. Hey, this is literally today. This is a couple hours ago. It came out. They're trying to get rid. Obviously, there was another one about the chickens, things like that. So again, they're going after the food. Grow your own food. Get your own chickens. Drink your real milk. They're going. I mean, it's just they're going to try to find something again, and obviously with the vaccines, things like that, try to push through forward and more of the nonsense. Saint of the day, saint of the week. Who would be the saint of the week? I hate to give it to MTG, but I guess I'll do it to MTG for going after Mike Johansson and pushing that amendment thing. if you're just joining us or you forget what it was, the new amendment would force reps to support Ukraine aid to join Kyiv's military. Like I said, brilliant idea. Am I a fan of hers? No. Would it be fun to see her and Trumpzilla be a VP tag team duo? I think that would be red meat for a lot of the conservatives diehards. They won't win. Well, again, it's already selected. It's just how do they want to do it? How's the thing written out? How's the play script written out? It's somebody who's going to win already. It's just how's it going to go out at the end?
Yeah. That's pretty much true. That's very accurate. So yeah, there you go. Did you give a saint?
Yeah. See, no one was paying
attention. MGG. I'm sorry. I'm not paying attention right now, obviously. I know. I'm sorry. I'm dealing with stuff for the insurance. I apologize.
Oh, I saw.
No excuse. No excuses. Nope. I should have put it down until.
How dare you?
Yeah. Thank you, Greta. Deservedly so, in that regard. So I think I'm going to throw my my cry room to the judge in El Paso, who is just like, yeah, you know, invade the country if you want. That's fine. Don't worry about it. No charges. No charges for any of you. That'll work out well. As far as Saint of the Week, I'm going to put Massey in there because I heard Thomas Massey is working on a bill that would amend the U.S. Constitution to the point where you would be kind of getting off the food chain, where it would require you to have so that I'm going to retroactively put him in my Saint.
Massey's been on time the last few months. Well, he's solid anyways, but he's been really
he's stepped up. And the reason why he's mine is because he's one of the few public servants that you could actually have out there. You could say he's actually a public servant in that regard. So
can I put Yosemite Sam in here just for a minute, just to put him on?
Of course.
Great horny toads, I'm up north. Gotta burn my boots. They touched Yankee soil.
That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. So, all right. Yes. So there you go, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us. Please like, subscribe, and share the news from the pew. And I will hopefully, I don't know. That's a terrible outro. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Steve has always been a great guest. Hopefully we'll have Fawaz next week. God bless and viva Cristo Rey.